All right, welcome seniors, welcome guests, parents, educators. We are so excited for you to be joining us. My name is Mary Lou Huerta. I work in enrollment services as a student success coordinator. It is quite nice meeting you all virtually. Once again, a huge thank you for those of you taking time out of your busy days, especially if you are seniors starting to get that senioritis. I'm really happy that you are here joining us virtually. This is our first session, session one of Vaquero Kickoff. If you know any friends, family members, if you're an educator and you want to hop on or you can't make it right now, you need to come back. We do have a second session, so I definitely want to highlight, if you have any friends that weren't able to hop onto this one, please encourage them, send them a little text, a Snapchat, an Instagram message, whatever it is you're communicating with, and remind them we have another session at 6 p.m. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Once again, thank you all for joining us. I want to make sure you're all in the right spot. This is Senior Kickoff, Vaquero Kickoff for SBCC for fall 2022. I also, before I get started, I do want to acknowledge we have some very important team members here joining us. You are not seeing them. They are the word of Oz. So I want to say a special thank you to one of our college reps, one of our student program assistants, Michaela. Thank you for being here. She's going to be helping with Q&A. Also, special shout out to my Robin, to my Batman, is Liz Stein. Liz, thank you for holding it down on Q&A and helping with a lot of the planning. And a special shout out as well, because of course, you know, we need to add more to the party, to Sabrina. She is one of our lead academic counselors at SBCC and our lead contact for supporting our local high school. So thank you, team, for being here. I greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody ready to get started? So education is the future passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. And I think this is a perfect quote for the time that we're in right now, right? Through COVID, we have all experienced that nothing is more valuable than your education, whether you're using it for your educational goals or for your career goals, just in general. It is the one thing you all have control over. And I invite you to continue exploring that journey with us. So welcome seniors, your journey starts today. It really does start today. You know, I'm really hoping that whether you're watching this at home or on your phone or in a classroom, I really hope that I'm able to excite you guys all about coming to SBCC. I know I'm excited to work with you. I know the rest of the team is really excited to work with you. So yes, your journey starts today. While it may seem like it may not, it really does start today. We're going to cover a lot of important information. I do want to highlight that we will be doing Q&A at the end. But that doesn't mean you cannot use the Q&A feature on Zoom. Please type in those questions. Like I said, we have a whole team of people working to answer your questions. So please do not hesitate. If you want to send it, if you're too shy, you want to send it anonymously, that's totally fine. We do not judge, but please, this is an opportunity to get your questions answered, okay? So today we are going to cover what? What is SBCC? Why? Why should you come to SBCC? I mean, not only are we steps away from the beach, and I mean, check out that view from my office. It is pretty amazing. But how? How are you going to get here? How are you going to visit us? How are you going to get on campus? And how are you going to get started, right? And applying and registering and meeting with the counseling teams, and when, most importantly, when. We're going to cover some dates. We're going to cover some key timelines that you really need to follow. So we're going to cover a lot of really good information today. All right, what is SBCC? For some of you who may not know this, we are one of 116 community colleges in the state of California. That's right. There are 116 community colleges in the entire state, and we are one of them. We are also right now #1 community college in the nation, which is pretty amazing. So you can be a part of that journey. Here at SBCC, we offer associate's degrees. We also offer certificate programs. You know, not everybody has a different, or everybody has a different career or educational goal. So we are offering associate degrees, certificate programs, transfer programs. We're going to talk a little more about those as well. And then if you are interested in either now or in the future, if you have family members that are interested in continuing their education, we do have our non-credit campus. We actually have 2 non-credit campuses through our School of Extended Learning, which provide great opportunities as well. So first, why SBCC? I mean, first of all, y'all get the promise. That is a huge, huge incentive. So for those of you who don't know what the promise is, it's an amazing support service that you're going to be getting as a local high school student. I'm going to go into more of that a little later, but really that's one of the huge reasons is, you know, the promise. They're going to make it, they are making it possible. They're bridging those gaps financially to really support our local students. All of your costs, all required costs are covered. Required, that's key word, right? We also offer over 80 academic majors, some of our most popular majors being business, communications, engineering, psychology, and biology, but the list continues. Student support programs. Now, I love this part, student support programs. I thrive here. I am also a product of many of these programs. And please, please, students, take advantage of these programs. They are free. That is one of the beautiful things about going to a community college and having a team like with folks like myself is you're going to get connected to these programs and to these resources. So I'm going to start off with one of my most favorite programs because I am a full product of this program. And I know a lot of the folks maybe watching here who have older siblings or, you know, friends, they are also products of EOPS. EOPS is a state-funded program. It stands for Extended Opportunities Programs and Services. It really is amazing. Like, no joke, no lie, it truly is amazing. EOPS really provides students with a community on campus. They are your educational family. They are your support system. They are literally everything you need them to be. Because it is a state-funded program, however, you do need to be eligible for that program. Whether it's, so they do have a financial component. You do need to apply and qualify. I do not want you to make that decision yourself. I do not want you to think that you are automatically not eligible. No, 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 no. You let those experts do that, okay? You meet with the program advisors from that program, meet with them, review your application, and they will tell you. But they provide book grants, they provide meal plans, like meal plans. You literally get paid to eat on campus. That's pretty amazing. I said book grants, right? Yes, book grants, meal plans. If you're a commuting student, I know I was a commuting student. I actually graduated in Ventura. I know, I'm not like super local, but I actually am kind of local. We'll continue that story in a little bit. But they provide gas cards. Like, gas is expensive, y'all. They provide gas cards. They also provide childcare opportunities. They have their own academic counselors. They have program advisors. So you literally get someone who's going to guide you, support you, kind of like hold your hand through the process. They have their own tutor center. They have their own computer lab and free printing. Once you'll get to campus, you will see printing. That's probably the most challenging thing is if it's not parking, it's printing, but finding free printing. So you're going to get all those services through there. But one of our the most popular program that you can get through EOPS is Running Start. So this is really exciting. I think I have one of my best friends in the audience. Her name is Alicia Sanchez. She is our program advisor for Running Start. Y'all, apply for Running Start. This program is only open to our local high school students. It's a summer bridge program. You literally get paid to be in the program. You get paid $100 a week. It's in person. Field trips, yeah, field trips in person are coming. There are limited spots. So mark your calendars, keep an eye out, an ear out for that information coming. Program will take place June 28th through August 7th. So if you hear of Running Start, raise your hand, right? Get that interest form in, meet with Allie, meet with the team, but do not miss your opportunity. If you have more questions about that, we can answer them in the chat or we can answer them at the end. DSPS, this is our Disability Services and Programs for Students. Once again, I was a product of DSPS. I did not know I had a learning disability because they are not always visible, are they? No, they are not. And I didn't realize that until, guess what? One day I went into EOPS, meeting with my advisor. EOPS took me to DSPS, met with them, tested, and it turned out I do have a learning disability. That's okay. Once I got the support, guess what? I excelled even more. I got the support I needed to be a good student, to really, complete those goals, to reach those academic and career goals. So take advantage of the services. You can get tons of services from DSPS. Whether if you currently have an IEP or a 504, please apply to our DSPS program. If you don't know how to get connected, send us a Q&A question. We will get you connected, okay? But DSPS does not only provide services for folks that might have a learning disability, there are also physical disabilities, right? Maybe you are playing on one of our sports teams and you get hurt. It's going to be a little hard to get from one side of campus to the other. Or maybe you didn't, you ended up parking down by the stadium and you have a class on the other side of campus. That's a mission, y'all. Guess what? You can get support services through DSPS. Maybe they're picking you up and dropping you off in class. Maybe I'm a righty. So what if I broke my right arm and I can't take notes anymore? Guess what? If I go and meet with DSPS, they're going to be able to provide me with services. Maybe I get a note taker for the time my arm's in a cast. So there are different services that you can get. There is always something there to help you. All you need to do is ask us and get connected. We also have our STEM department and center for STEM majors. So whether you're a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics major, I know there's some of us, myself included, that enjoy calling our STEM major wizards because y'all are pure magic. Seriously, like, I don't know how you guys get through these books, but y'all are magic. So we do have a STEM center. They get you connected to volunteer opportunities, to internships, paid internships. I know we've had students like intern with NASA, like, y'all, I want to go to the moon. Like, those are pretty cool internships. So take advantage of these services. Study abroad. Now, I know you probably hear study abroad and you're like, yeah, no, I can't get there. That's going to be too much money. Folks, you can make it happen. You can make it happen by asking the right questions and getting connected. Through our study abroad program, they go all over the world. They go to India, the Philippines, they go to Europe, Mexico. I mean, the list continues. And I will say, as somebody who studied abroad, that's right, little old me studied abroad when I was a student at City College. It is one of the most amazing experiences that you will ever have. We're in a great place where our study abroad office actually provides, in the program, provides some amazing scholarship opportunities that really cover all of your costs. I mean, the travel, everything. They really want to see our students have experiences. They really want to send our students out into the world. So definitely check in, visit our study abroad webpage and learn more about the different opportunities, whether you're looking at a full-term program, like a semester program, or maybe, you can do a summer program. I know that that's what worked for me when I was a student at City College. Is I ended up doing a summer program. Honestly, I didn't think I'd be able to do it because it is expensive. I'm going to be real with you guys. I do not lie to y'all. It is expensive. However, there are opportunities. And guess what? If you really want to make it happen, you can make it happen. I mean, I was literally recycling, I had friends helping me, bringing me their cans, their water bottles to donate so I can go recycle and put that into my little savings account. I was going to the swap meet and doing swap meet. I was doing yard sales. I mean, I literally did what I could in a full year to make it possible because like very many of the students or families watching today at home, right? Or in the classroom or wherever you are, finances is sometimes a huge issue for us. But I do not want that to, disencourage you. Like, I want you, if anything, for that to be like your fuel, your motivation to being like, that one girl said, like, she was even doing yard sales to study abroad. I can do this too. You can do it. They didn't have the scholarships that they have now when I was a student, so kind of shady, but there are opportunities and we're continuing to provide these opportunities. So please take advantage. Honors students, so if I have any honors students in the audience, or if your friend's an honors student, we do have honors programs at Santa Barbara City College. You do need to apply to these programs though. So definitely something to keep in mind. Typically, students will apply for our honors program. Once they've applied to City College, you do have to have an application, and you do have to submit your transcripts. You have to submit a written statement, some sample pieces. Get in touch with us if you have questions about honors. Please, like I continue to say, drop those in the Q&A, and we're happy to get you connected with our honors program. Those are great, great opportunities. There are also scholarship opportunities for honor students. And if you're wanting to transfer to some Ivy League schools, obviously honors classes look really good on there. Our Student Equity Center, oh, I just noticed I have it on there twice. Sorry about that. So I'll go into student equity, but through our Student Equity Center, we have our Moja Center, we have our new Dream Center, which is so amazing. I actually just went down there last semester, and it is pretty awesome. Like, I want to go work down there. We have our Center for Equity and Social Justice as well, along with our Basic Needs Center. So I know at times I'm a commuter. I actually live in Ventura. I come down here or up here to work, but I know sometimes it's hard. And being a student, you know, you might forget your lunch, or you might just need a little snack. Maybe you forgot your wallet, or maybe you're just trying to save some money for that study abroad trip, right? Visit our student pantry. It is open to everybody. Take some groceries home for your families. You can get actual produce, you can get dairy items, you can get poultry items. They will literally have like cartons of eggs in there, gallons of milk. I mean, once y'all go out into the real world, you will see how expensive groceries are. So please, please, these services are here to help you. In our Basic Needs Center, we also have Love's Closet. So it's pretty much upcycled clothing, upcycled donation items for your home, to clothing, to baby items. So if there is something that you need, maybe you're going to a job interview and you've never owned a tie and you need a tie, guess what? Check out our Love's Closet. Or maybe you need a blazer or a dress, or maybe you just need some new summer clothes, right? But check out these services. They are open. You can find information on our website as well. Transfer programs, super popular, I know. So through SBCC, you can actually tag. Now, I know a lot of students within the next few months are going to start hearing back from some new CSUs, from private schools that they applied to. Congratulations if you get accepted, but guess what? If you don't, or maybe that financial aid packet doesn't come through the way you were hoping to, guess what? You're still a promise student. You can still come to us, get your 2 full years covered, and then tag. You can tag to some of the top schools in the state, UCSB being one of them. So learn about these programs, learn about these services, and guess what? Tag is not going to cost you one dime. It doesn't. It costs you your time completing that application, meeting with the counseling teams. Within our transfer programs, we also have our Transfer Academy and TAP. We also have our Transfer Achievement Program, academic counseling. And I'm so glad Sabrina is here. So if you have questions, don't forget, we do have Sabrina, one of our academic counselors. Academic counseling is very different from what the counseling that you have experienced in high school, right? With our academic counselors, you're going to review your student education plan. You're going to learn and create personal development goals, career goals, academic goals. They're really there to help you meet your academic or career goal, but they are not there to do it for you, right? So they're going to give you the tools to be successful. They're going to teach you how to be successful. But when it comes time to registering for classes, guess what? That's all on you, but we will help you. We also have some certificate programs. We actually offer over 50 certificate programs. Some of our top ones being health technologies, cosmetology. If you've been downtown, you've probably seen our cosmetology building. It's where the old Paul Mitchell building used to be. It's actually very beautiful. We also have marine diving, culinary arts, and automotive. I do want to point out that some of these programs do require supplemental applications. What does that mean? That means you're required to submit an additional application. So to be in some of these programs, you are required to submit an extra application. Now, within our health technologies, we have our nursing programs. There are some nursing programs that do require prereqs. What does that mean? Another one, right? Prereqs, that means you need to complete some pre-requirements, some requirements to even apply to be in the program. But guess what? We're going to help you through that. We have counseling teams. We have reps from these different programs that we can put you in contact, and they will guide you through step by step on what requirements are needed. All right, SBCC Promise. So I really hope a lot of you know this information, but for those of you who don't know, or maybe we have folks joining us from outside of our Santa Barbara district, but the SBCC Promise provides any local students who complete their secondary education or resides within Santa Barbara Community College District. That means between Gaviota to Carpinteria, within Santa Barbara Community College District, the opportunity to attend SBCC full-time for 2 or more years, huge, 2 years, with all of the required costs covered. The Promise is a project of the SBCC Foundation. It uses privately raised funds to cover all enrollment and required fees. So definitely, it's an amazing service. It's an amazing project, that comes from our foundation. And it's really, meant to help support our students, to help support our local students, and to alleviate those financial stressors, but it also helps keep our talent here. It helps keep our talent local and coming to our beautiful college. So SBCC Promise eligibility. I know it looks like a lot, but guess what? A lot of these requirements you're going to complete with your steps to enrollment. We're going to go through those shortly, so I don't want you to start freaking out on me. First, you need to complete your secondary education within Santa Barbara, our college district. So that means between Gaviota and Carpinteria. Second, you need to complete a financial application. There are 3 different forms. I'm really going to highlight 2, and then we'll talk about the third one. The first one is your FAFSA. FAFSA already opened, folks. FAFSA opened. Please do not wait until the deadline to submit your FAFSA. Deadline for FAFSA is March 2nd. Mark that on your calendars. I'll say it again if you want to record me and snap it to your friends. March 2nd is a deadline to complete your FAFSA. Does that mean you can't complete it afterwards? No, you can always complete your FAFSA at any time. However, if you want to be eligible for additional aid or even scholarships, you have to complete your FAFSA on time. There is no ands, ifs, or buts. There is no way around that. If you are also trying to apply for additional financial aid resources, you must apply for FAFSA on time. Within FAFSA, DREAM Act. So depending on your residency status, you might be completing a DREAM Act application, and that's fine. It's very similar to the FAFSA. Same deadline, March 2nd. We really want to encourage our students to complete those applications. The third option would be the California College Promise Grant, the CCPG. Kind of get familiar with that term. That's what you're going to hear. But guess what? If you complete your FAFSA or your DREAM Act, CCPG is covered in there already. You don't have to do it. These are just basic promise requirements. But we definitely want to encourage you to complete your FAFSA or your DREAM Act, because guess what? Chances are you're going to be eligible for additional financial aid. What does that mean? Students can get anywhere from $500 to $3,000 for a whole semester. That's a lot of money. You do not want to sit on that money. You do not want to let those opportunities go by. So please apply. Maybe you need a new laptop. Maybe you need a desktop computer. Guess what? You can use some of that financial aid money to pay for these resources, right? Maybe you are transferring and you're not going to come to CC. Well, some of that money could definitely help for housing. So please make sure you complete that FAFSA or that DREAM Act. You also need to commit to a full-time student status. Full-time at SBCC means 12 units. Question though, I'm going to ask my own question. What if I'm a DSPS student and my specialist, my counselor says, Mary Lou, to be successful, you should only be in 9 units. Guess what? The Promise is going to be okay with that. You just need to make sure you're an active DSPS student, that you've completed your intake process. And if they are recommending you be in less than 12 units, that is okay. You will not lose your Promise eligibility. If DSPS says we recommend a reduced unit load, that's totally fine. You can still be a Promise student, but you need to keep those things in mind, okay? If you are not a DSPS student, you must be in a minimum of 12 units. Now, common question, when do you have to enroll? It's number 4. You must enroll. If you are graduating this June, you must enroll in Santa Barbara City College for Promise service to be Promise eligible either fall 2022 or spring 2023 at the very latest. I know a common question that we might get in the chat, or we might get at the end is, can I take off a gap year? Well, you can't take off a gap year, but if you really wanted to, you can take off a gap semester. What does that mean? If you graduate this June, that means you take a fall semester off and then you come to a spring 2023. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to make that more confusing, but just make sure you are not, you don't take more than a semester break. That is a Promise requirement. Complete a student education plan. Now, majors, academic goals, career goals, those change all the time. I am embarrassed to say I actually changed my major 3 times. Third time's the charm, though. It's okay. Third time's the charm. By the third time, I knew what I was going to major in. But this is why it is so important that as being a Promise student, that you are meeting with our counseling teams. So as part of a requirement, you are required to meet with an academic counselor 1 time a semester, and 5 and 6 really do go in hand, because you're meeting with an academic counselor and you're making sure you have your student education plan. You're making sure that it's up to date. Your student education plan really serves as your roadmap, your navigation system, to your academic goals, to your transfer goals, to your career goals. That's what's really going to help you figure out what courses to take in what order. We do not want y'all to think that you are going to be left to your own to look at this massive class schedule and just pick classes. No, that's not how it works. You will meet with the counselor. They will help you pick out your classes, but it is a requirement for the Promise. And then lastly, remain in academics good standing. So that means completing each semester with a minimum of a 2.0 GPA. So that's really you doing your part of the Promise to get the services. SBCC Promise say what? Yes, there are some common misconceptions. There are some myths. I want to clarify those myths today. Am I automatically signed up for the Promise? No, you are not automatically signed up for the Promise. You have to sign up. That is one of the beautiful things about going to college and going into the real world and the adult world, right? Is you are now responsible for your actions, for the things that will come to you. One of them being the Promise. You have to sign up. You have to opt in yourself. Do you have to pay the money back? No, you don't have to pay any of the money back, as long as you meet the requirements, right? So as long as you meet your requirements, as long as you remain in good standing, you will never have to pay that money back. But it's, if the Promise is doing their part of a service, you got to do your part too. So just keep that in mind as well. Keeping your Promise to remain eligible. So what does that mean? Maintain good academic standing, minimum of a 2.0. You got to meet with an academic counselor 1 time per semester. In addition to this, y'all, I just want to remind you, you will constantly be getting emails from our Promise manager, from the Promise, reminding you of these things. So none of this stuff will ever be a surprise. You will never be caught off guard. We will continuously remind you. But let's get back to it. So meet with an academic counselor 1 time per semester. You have to apply for financial aid every academic year. What does that mean? That means the FAFSA, the DREAM Act, the CCPG that you complete right now, that's due March 2nd, that's for this coming academic year. So that will cover fall 2022 and spring 2023. I feel like I should have little flashcards with those dates. But that's what it's going to cover. It's going to cover both of those terms and summer terms. So you definitely need to apply every school year. Okay, don't forget. And then once again, commit to a full-time schedule unless, disclaimer, unless you are a DSPS student. Now, I always want to remind students, because I know it could be stressful to think, well, what if I have an IEP or a 504 and I'm being told not to do 12. The Promise will respect that, okay? But if you are not, you are full-time, you are in 12 units. Some helpful tips, please, and this is where we start. Please check your pipeline email. As soon as you submit that SBCC application, don't submit it now. We're gonna get there. Don't submit it now. I know many of you are probably very excited. Please check your pipeline email though. As soon as you submit that application, you will have a pipeline account. What's pipeline account? It's your student account, but that's your pipeline email. That's your student email. That is where you're going to get promise communications from admissions and records, from academic counseling, from EOPS, from DSPS, from your instructors, folks, from your instructors. That is where they will be emailing you. So what are you going to do? Check your pipeline email daily. You're going to submit an appeal if needed. So sometimes things happen, life happens. Now, I know by looking at me, it may seem like I was like the perfect student, got everything done. Oh, no, 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 no. Trust me, life happened to me and I needed that wake up call. And I remember I got a really scary email from a dean and I was like, oh my goodness. And sometimes you got to appeal because life happens to all of us, but it's okay because that is a beautiful thing about, getting your education is you do get chances. You get chances to start over again. You get chances to kind of get your act together, and that's totally fine. So you might need to submit an appeal if needed. Hopefully you don't get there. Like I said, just make sure you remain, you do your basics to remain in good standing, and you won't have to worry about those appeals. Your financial balance on your class schedule should always say 0. You should never owe any money. It should always be 0. So please don't forget that. Please do not wait until the last moment to apply. I'm going to also kind of touch base on that shortly, but please do not wait until the last moment to apply, to register for classes. I know I've said you can really apply at any time, and it could be the week before school starts, or it could be the first week, but let's avoid that because unlike the UC, CSUs, and privates, we're not costing you a dime. All you are giving me is your time. You are attending workshops, you are checking in with us, you're working on your application, but you are not spending one dime applying for City College. So with that being said, please do not wait until the last moment. And then contact the Promise with any questions. It is a great office. It is a great team. Take a screenshot. This is the great time to pull out your phone if you have not pulled that out yet. Take a screenshot on your computer, whatever works. Write down this information, whatever works. I'm going to keep it on there for a second, but please contact them. If you have any specific questions, maybe, you had planned to study abroad for a year with a different institute, or maybe you were going into the military and you're going to be gone. Have those conversations with the Promise and review what your options are, but don't just make an assumption yourself. Okay, so write down that information. Now we're moving on. All right, how do I get to SBCC? This is the fun stuff. This is the exciting stuff. First step is you're going to apply. You're going to apply to SBCC. Step número 2 is you're going to check or you're going to log into Pipeline, and you're also going to use opt into the Promise. Sorry, I see that I have some participants raising their hand. If you have any questions, just go ahead and drop them into the Q&A, please. We're not going to be raising or selecting people to ask questions live, but if you have questions, just drop them into Q&A. Greatly appreciate it. Step 2, you're going to log into your Pipeline and you're going to opt into the Promise, because remember, you got to opt in yourselves. Step número 3 is you have to check your placement. So now, y'all, you don't have to take these placement tests. You don't have to. Years ago, and this is like how old I am, because when I came to City College, I had to take a placement test. I had to go to the assessment lab, take my math test, my English, and really figure out what level I was at, right? That is not a requirement anymore. When you're completing your application, you're going to actually use high school transcripts to input this information. But things happen in the technical world, right? And sometimes maybe information isn't entered correctly. Maybe you didn't have the information or you need to update it. So we want you to check your placement, because we want to make sure that you are placed in the right math and English courses. Step 4, online orientation. Yes, you have to complete online orientation. Now, we are still in a COVID world, as sad as that makes me. You're going to complete online orientation. It's pretty short. It's pretty straight to the point, but please pay attention to the details in online orientation, because they are important details to know. Virtual class planning, that is when you are going to meet with the class planning team. I'm going to give you a little more information shortly, so make sure you take out that note, that paper. We're also recording this webinar. So if you want to go back and watch it and just kind of get to the spots you need the info again, feel free to do that too. But we're going to talk more about class planning. This is when you meet with the counseling teams, start looking at your classes, talk about majors. It gets exciting, folks. And then step 6 is register. You get to finally register. It's that big moment has come. You get to register for your classes. You get to create the schedule you want, not the schedule your parents want or your high school counselors want. You get to register and pick the classes that you want, right? If you're not a morning person, then take evening classes, or maybe you're not an in-person person, you want to take virtual classes. That's totally fine. That's when it's going to take place. You're going to register. So step one, like I said, is we're going to apply. You can find our SBCC application online. We are going to be providing virtual workshops this month. They actually start next week. I'm so excited. I am sad to say they are all virtual. It really hurts my heart, but it's okay. We're trying to keep everybody safe, yourself safe, myself safe, the team safe. But we are holding virtual workshops February and March where we can assist you. We will be working in small breakout rooms. If you have any hesitation, if you're nervous, if you're just not sure, join us. Please join us. If those workshop times don't work for you, visit us during drop-in hours. If drop-in hours don't work for you, folks, you're going to have my contact info. Yes, my contact info, Liz's contact info. Reach out to us. We are so happy to sit with you in a one-on-one, whether it's a Zoom, a phone call, email back and forth, whatever works for you. We are happy to help you work on your application. However, attending these workshops early on is like super easy, super important. It's just going to make your life easier. Like I said, workshops start next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. We will have an application workshop every week on Tuesday and Wednesday for the entire month of February and the entire month of March, with the exception of spring break, because I know y'all gonna check out for spring break, so we're gonna give you a break too. But please join us. You can find all of our information by visiting our website. Go to our local high school page, go to your specific high school, and you will see links to register for workshops. So please join us. We also have amazing guides that I have now created. Liz really started that tradition, so I can't take all the credit. But please use our guides, use our video guides. We just want to make sure that when you're completing your application, you're filling it out correctly, that you're not leaving anything blank, that you're not skipping questions. Can't really skip questions, but that you're not, just answering questions that you think, or answering them with answers that you think are correct and maybe they're not. So please meet with us if you have any questions. We are happy to help you. So that's going to be your step one, is you're going to submit your question. Now, common misconception. A lot of students think that applying to SBCC and completing your CCC Apply application, it's the same login as your pipeline. We have 2 different logins, folks. I know, literally so confusing, right? But when you complete your SBCC application, you're doing it within something called CCC Apply. That's one login, and then you got your pipeline login. So please do not mix those up. I know we're also going to get this question, so I'm going to try to get to it first. Let's say you're a dual enrollment student. You're currently a dual enrollment student, or you have been a dual enrollment student. Do you need to reapply? Yes, you do need to reapply, because guess what? Now you are going to be applying as a first time to college student. You are no longer a dual enrollment student. So I think on the application, it says like taking high school courses, current high school student. When you apply, right, you're graduating this year, you're submitting your application, you're going to apply as a first year to college student. So if you are a dual enrollment student, if you ever were a dual enrollment student, you have to submit a new application. Step 2, there's 2 steps in step 2. You're going to log into your pipeline. Now, another thing might come up, right? If you were a dual enrollment student, or you are, does your pipeline information change? No, it actually doesn't change. It actually stays exactly the same. So that's kind of cool. It makes things so much easier. But you want to log into your pipeline. You want to make sure that you're able to log in. If you want to take a screenshot of this, I definitely welcome anybody to take a screenshot of this. It's going to show you how to log into your pipeline. But if you join us at application workshops, at registration workshops, during our Tuesday drop-ins, guess what? You're going to get that information. We're going to show you, we're going to guide you. So don't ever feel like you got to remember this whole presentation today. No, it's a lot of information. But if you need help, call our 805 number, 805-730-4450 if you need any help getting into pipeline. Now, there are things that we can fix in our department. Then there are things that it's in the technical world, and then we'll get other people involved. Totally fine. We are here to help you with this process. As soon as you can log into your pipeline, that's when you want to opt into the promise. And we will help you opt into the promise. It's very straightforward. It's very easy, but you do need to be able to log into pipeline in order to opt into the promise. So don't forget that. Step 3 is class placement. Remember, we no longer require students to take math or English placements anymore, but we definitely want to make sure that you completed your application correctly, because your placement information gets pulled in from your application. So if your application isn't submitted correctly, or maybe you missed some information, or maybe you didn't use your high school transcripts, this is a great time to check placement. We always want to check your placement, okay? Step 4, online orientation. Online orientation is fully virtual. It's about a 45-minute video. It talks about great information, highlights, gives you great insight to some of our programs on campus, how to navigate the campus, really clarifies, the different roles that are on campus, from academic counseling to our transfer center, to Office of Student Life. So please, it's very important that you do pay attention to that video, because I know myself, Sabrina, and Liz, we will get questions that come straight out of orientation. And we're going to ask you, did you finish orientation, or did you watch this orientation video? Because all of that was covered. And it's not that we don't want to help you, but we need you to listen to orientation. There's a lot of time and effort put into that. And it's going to answer so many questions and just provide a lot of clarity for you too. So you need to complete orientation and complete the quiz. You can complete this by April. Honestly, that is ideal. Ideal because that way you can continue to your next steps. Virtual class planning. So this is when you're going to meet with our academic counseling teams. You're really going to learn the difference between working with a high school counselor and working with a college counselor. You're going to create your student education plan, known as your SEP. And that's really going to be, like I said, your roadmap, your NAVI, to help you reach those academic or those career goals. The sessions are all being held virtually. Now, few key things, please pay attention right now. Few key things that I want to highlight is registration for class planning opens March 14th. I'm going to say it again. Registration for class planning opens March 14th. Seats are limited. Early registration will secure your spot in class planning. These class planning sessions are not open to 100 students at a time, okay? There's limited sections, and then there's limited spots. So you definitely want to take priority. And when March 14th comes up, make sure that you sign up. There are also 2 types of class planning sessions that we definitely want to highlight. There are class planning sessions that Sabrina and the rest of her counseling team have worked to create just for our local high school students. Think of those as VIP sessions, all right? Y'all get VIP sessions. Nobody outside of our district could apply for those. So those are only open to our local high school students. So please take advantage. March 14th, register for the first session that works with your schedule. Now, another thing before I continue with important reminders I need to give y'all, these links, registration has to be done through your pipeline, has to be done through your pipeline email. There is no way around that. So when you register for that session and that session comes up and it's the morning of, and it's 5 minutes into the session and you're wondering, where's my Zoom link? Why can't I get in? It's probably because you're not in your pipeline email. They will not send you communications to external emails. Just like right now, you're in high school, you're communicating with your counselors, with your instructors, with the principals, with support systems within your school district. It is exactly the same when it comes to City College, and getting information from internal support services, right? So please, I cannot say this enough. Please check your pipeline emails. Please check those actively. As soon as you're registering for things, you want to make sure you're getting updates. So do not forget. And like I said, there's two types of class planning sessions. One are VIP sessions for our local high school students. And then the second one is a general session. And if none of the local high school sessions work for you, that's totally fine, folks. That's totally fine. Just join one of our general ones, you know, whatever works for you. But we definitely want you to try to join those VIP sessions. Class planning starts for our local high school students March 28th through May 30th. Okay, so reminder, it opens up March 14th. That's when you can sign up. The first session is March 28th. The last one for local high school is May 30th. Now, let's say you want to take some summer classes with us. You could take them summer session 2 as a first time to college student. That means you need to complete class planning by April 12th so that you can register on time, okay? Don't go beyond April 12th. So if you want to take summer 2 classes, if you're going to be a Running Start student, take advantage and sign up for those classes for class planning on April 12th. All right, folks. And last, register. Yes, this is one step closer to getting you on campus, getting you in that classroom, whether it's in person or virtual for you. You're going to register. We have several registration workshops coming up. I'm going to highlight actually when priority registration is for all of our students, but you are responsible for registering yourself. Sabrina and the counseling team will not register you. I will not register you, Liz. Your parents will not register. You need to register yourself for your classes, okay? So the last step is going to be to register, but like I said, we're gonna have several workshops coming up for registration, so don't want y'all to miss out on any of those opportunities. And when should I do this? So if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you directly to our local high school page where you can get application workshop links, orientation. You can find all of your steps to enrollment. You get some water. Sorry about that. Class planning dates and links on how to sign up are on there. So y'all, you can start mapping things out on your calendar so that you don't forget these dates and registration workshops. So definitely please check out the QR code. It's live. It takes you directly to our landing page. Now, if you are a local high school student, once you get to our local high school page, it will take you to the local page. And then each local high school, y'all are VIP, I'm just saying, each high school actually has their own tab. Bishop Diego has their own tab, Santa Barbara, San Marcos, DP, La Cuesta, Carpinteria, y'all have your own page. Now, if you are outside from our district, maybe you're one of our neighboring schools from up north or down south, you are still welcome to join us at these sessions. You can always email myself or Liz and we can send you a link where you can register, but we don't want anybody to feel like they cannot participate. These sessions are open to any high school student, but local students, y'all are VIP, just saying. Priority registration, take a screenshot, put it on your calendar, make a TikTok, whatever works for you. Whatever works so you don't forget. Priority registration is May 11th. Mark your calendars. That is the first day you can register to classes, okay? 8 a.m. comes and you can register for classes. However, the following are physical holds on your account. You need to complete them before you can register. There is no way around them. I always recommend students just complete them in order because that way it's just done and easy, right? First step is apply. Second step, check your placement. Third is online orientation. And your fourth step is class planning. Remember, during class planning, that's when you pick out your classes, okay? Based on career or academic goals. And maybe you just don't know what you want to do, and that's totally okay. Have those conversations with them and they will help guide you and figure out what classes will work best for you. But you do need to complete these before you can register for classes, okay? You need to complete all of these, so I cannot highlight that enough. And what am I going to say again? Check your pipeline emails. Please, please, please check them daily, set reminders, add it to your phone if that's what works. Save it on your desktop computer, whatever works for you, but please make sure you're checking that pipeline email. See, what did I say? Check your pipeline email. All communications, whether it's from a support program, academic counseling, class planning. Yep, you're going to get that link to join that meeting. instructors, maybe the instructor changed the room location, or maybe something happened and that class went from in-person to virtual, or maybe it went from virtual to in-person. You're going to get all of these updates in your email. You know, I think a lot of y'all remember when Thomas Fire happened and when the Montecito mudslides, right? We were getting our communications and we were getting alerts in our pipeline email. So for students who were out of the area, for employees who did not live in the area, it was so important and key to check those pipeline emails, because that's where we got our information. So please make sure you are actively checking that pipeline email and stay connected and don't miss a beat. Please, you're going to follow us on our different platforms to stay connected, to get the information, workshop dates, reminders, registration links, and videos. I'm going to leave it on here for like a minute. Can't do more than that because we do need to continue to get to Q&A. But Liz Stein, one of, my Robin, she's been working on a texting campaign, and I am so grateful for that, because guess what? You can text us college, text it to this number, 1-877-203-7222. Text the word college and you can get opted in. We're not gonna bombard you with all kinds of messages, but we definitely want to get you alerts and reminders. So text it. I'm going to give you like 10 seconds to do that. Okay, everybody's doing it? Awesome. Parents, do you want to opt in to keep your students and remind them, please? Educators, counselors, instructors, if you want to opt in, please go ahead and opt in. Like I said, you're going to get workshop reminders, drop-in reminders, links to register. It's if I ask you now, when's registration open? Do y'all remember? Do you guys remember? May 11th. So if you want to get these reminders, please make sure you're following us or actually opting into the text messages. We also want you to follow us on our different platforms on our oh, sorry, guys. So if you guys can also join us, sorry, probably should not waited to drink water. Okay, I think I'm back. So follow us on Instagram to get updates, to get reminders, and to see what's happening on campus. We also have our TikTok. Follow us for video tutorials, once again, reminders, and just to stay in the loop and visit our campus and, get some visuals on our campus. But make sure you check out these 3 platforms to really stay in the loop. And lastly, as I'm joking here, you are not alone in the process. We are here to support you. You literally have a team of people that are here to guide you, to support you, to make sure that you are successful in this journey, because it can be a scary journey, especially if it's your first time, if you don't have anybody else who's gone through this process. It definitely can be an overwhelming process. But we're here to help you. We're here to support you. We're here to get you connected. If you have questions that you're like, wait, how do I get information on athletics? Or where do I get my ID? I don't remember. How do I get into EOPS? Contact us. We will get you connected. Look at us like your bridge to SBCC and getting you connected. We are here to help you. You are not alone. And we got you. Take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone. This is my contact info. I'm Mary Lou Huerta. We also have Liz Stein, who's holding down the Q&A. And we're pretty fast response on our email. Please do keep in mind, I know this is going to sound weird, but we are humans. We are humans at the end of the day. Our work days do end on Fridays. So as much as sometimes we try, we cannot always get to emails on the weekends. Please just be aware and cautious of that. We try to set healthy boundaries for ourselves as well. But please contact us, take a screenshot, take a picture. There's also our general enrollment services phone number if you really want to talk to someone, or our info email as well. whatever works for you. And thank you for joining us. Liz, do we have any Q&A?
Yeah, hi Mary Lou. So a couple people wanted to know when this recording will be posted, or actually, more specifically, if we are going to post it and when.
Great question. Yes, I actually met with IT this morning. And once we do have one more session, so bear with us. My goal is to have these recordings up live and on our website by next week. So by the end of next week, Friday at the latest, these recordings will be up and available on our local high school page.
Great. Just a couple more general questions that we got more than once. One question, if I graduated in January of 2022, so I was one of those early graduates, would I still be eligible for the promise in fall of 2022, or would I have missed out?
Great question. So you would have just graduated a few weeks ago, I'm assuming, right? We refer to students who graduate in December or January, so just a month ago, as a mid-year grad. That means you graduated mid-year. So you could either start this semester, which you would have already started at SBCC, or as you were asking, you could also start fall semester, because you're only so if you didn't come to CC this semester and you just graduated this January 2022, yes, you can start at SBCC fall semester 2022. So that's this coming semester. And even though you already graduated high school and you've completed your high school, you can still join us at our workshops. Visit our website, whatever works for you, because you're still a local high school, you're still an incoming student. So please don't feel that because you've already graduated high school and you're not an active student, you can't join us at workshops. No, please join us. You can also, I know it can be confusing, especially if you're not in high school, right? Because you're going to forget reminders. You might forget that you have deadlines coming up. So for those students in particular, I'm going to just take a quick back right here. Please opt in for that student who just asked that question about, graduating in January. Please opt into our text campaign, text college to this number, because we'll send you those reminders. We'll let you know, hey, workshop applications are taking place this week. And then that way you're going to get the support that you need. So great question. Yes, you can start fall 2022.
Okay, last but not least, I was so surprised that it took about 45 minutes in for somebody to actually ask this question, but I think it's probably on all our minds. What is going to be happening for fall of 2022? Will we be in person for classes? What will be the situation?
Yeah, so that is a great question. And I wish I had the exact answer that you're probably hoping for. As you can see, I'm actually working in my office. So there are some services that are currently taking place on campus. There are still services that are not. We do have a handful of courses that are being held in person on campus, but they are very specific questions. Now, our SBCC president and superintendent, Dr. Murillo, has a goal and asked everybody to return to in-person services for this semester starting February 22nd. So in a few weeks, you should see, if you decide to visit our campus, there'll be a lot more action, a lot more, you'll see more people walking around. But they definitely are taking all of the safety precautions. That's really the primary goal of keeping our students primarily safe, keeping faculty, teaching staff, support services safe. So that's the primary reason that we haven't really come back. But I know they're keeping those things in mind, and they're planning for summer, they're planning for fall. As of right now, we don't know what the exact plan is. I know that this semester we do have more classes available in person than we did fall semester. So, that's a good sign. Another good sign is Running Start is being held in person this semester. This summer. That's huge. The last 2 summers they've been virtual. So while I don't have an exact answer of what we can expect for fall, you can always check our website for more updates. And hopefully, as we go through our application workshops and registration workshops, we'll also have more information for all of you.
Somebody Just put a question. Michaela is in the process of answering it into the Q&A, but I think it's something that a lot of people might be interested in. That what about athletics? What about sports at Santa Barbara City College?
Yeah, so is that more of a question if we have sports? Because we do have sports. So we have an amazing athletic department.
I think just in general, Mary Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can definitely put you in contact with the different coaches in athletics, just depending on what sport you are interested in. If you wanted to visit our athletics department to just kind of see if that's going to be a right fit for you, if the sport that you're looking for is available here at CC, I definitely encourage you, visit our homepage, sbcc.edu. There's a little magnifying glass. You can put athletics in there. It'll take you straight to the athletics page. Athletics also is, you can kind of look at it like, it's a support service. They also have assigned academic counselor. So that's kind of cool, right? So if you're a student athlete, we're wanting to make sure you're also getting that support that you need, because not only are you juggling, your student load, but you're also juggling like being a student athlete. So they get you connected and you have an assigned academic counselor. I believe it's Joanne Gaines, right, Liz? And
yes,
she is
correct.
She is quite amazing. Student athletes right now, we do have them on campus. They've actually, I think they only took off a short time. I think they were some of the first students to come back onto campus, of course, abiding by all state and local safety precautions for COVID. But yeah, they've been on campus. We actually have a college representative who's on the women's soccer team, and she has actively been practicing and been actively traveling for games. So I hope that helps. As far as student athletes, yeah. So yes, we do have athletic teams on campus, and they are, from my understanding, they are continuing to be in person.
Mary Lou, what if a student wants to take a year off? So they're currently a senior at Dos Pueblos, for example, and they're going to be graduating in June, and they want to take the whole year off. How would that affect their promise? Yeah. So we don't work for the promise, right? We just help you complete those steps to be able to successfully opt into the promise. But we cannot answer super specific promise questions like that. Now, that doesn't mean that I want you to walk away from this thinking, well, if I take a year off, I'm not going to get into the promise. No, there are different reasons that at times, and especially in this COVID world, right, that we continue to all live in, there have been reasons that for personal reasons that students do need to take off some time from City College. Maybe they weren't able to come to us right out of high school due to COVID, right? Maybe work or childcare, maybe, family needed that support and they couldn't make college a priority. So in those situations, what we would definitely recommend you do is contact our promise office, contact our promise manager, Sergio, and have those specific conversations. Like I mentioned, there might be students who maybe are traveling for a year, maybe they're serving in our military, and for those reasons, right, they won't be able to come. Those situations, please reach out to the promise, have those specific questions, and do what they're instructing you to do. So if they might ask you to appeal, then submit that appeal, but don't ever make those assumptions yourself that you're not eligible for services anymore. I would just say for that situation to please reach out to our promise manager and have those specific conversations with them. Great. Could you talk a little bit about financial aid? Yeah, of course. I am not a financial aid guru, but I am a huge advocate of financial aid because I think it's an important service that it's free for all of our students. And you all should really take advantage of that. So through financial aid, it is a promise requirement that students complete their financial aid applications. Now, if you are one of our local high school students, it is my understanding, and I know because guess what, folks, we do talk to your high school counselors, that counseling centers, whether it's the Career Center or CalSOAP, they are actively having financial aid workshops. So if I have any DP students in here, Mr. Barr, Spencer Barr, I know he pushes financial aid. He is just an example. But I know high schools are pushing financial aid workshops. So please, I definitely want to highlight that. Please take advantage of the resources and the services that your high schools are offering, whether it's
in-person or virtual workshop, please take advantage of those and make sure you submit those applications by March 2nd. So the applications you would want to submit by March 2nd is going to be your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. I know I mentioned the third one. The third one is the CCPG. That's the California Promise Grant. That is embedded within your FAFSA or DREAM Act. So as long as you complete either the FAFSA or the DREAM Act, you've already completed the CCPG. Now, the reason we push March 2nd so much is because that's the deadline for Cal Grant. You get Cal Grant through FAFSA or DREAM Act, okay? It is, so there are different types of scholars, or I shouldn't call them scholarships. There are different types of financial aid that students can get. There's Cal Grant and Pell Grant. Cal Grant is California aid. They have a hard deadline of March 2nd. If you get it in on March 3rd, you are not eligible for Cal Grant. However, you are still eligible for Pell Grant, and that's okay. That's why we're saying you can submit FAFSA really at any time, and same with the DREAM Act, but is it going to lower the amount of money you're going to be eligible for? 100%. It's going to definitely lower the amount of money you're going to be eligible for. So that's why, once again, March 2nd is a huge date, because we definitely want students to be able to get all of the financial aid that they're eligible. I don't want you to walk away with only half the financial aid you're eligible for. I want you to get everything. You know, if the max that you can get is $3,000, I want you to walk away with that money, and be smart with that money. Make smart choices. That does not mean going out and getting a pair of red bottom shoes. That does not mean getting the new YSL bag. Okay. Be smart with your money. If you get financial aid, you can use that money really on whatever it is, but be smart with it. Wouldn't it be so much better to save your financial aid and use that versus having to work? And I understand there are students that have to work. I've had to work my whole life. Through college, I had 4 jobs. I know it. I am not even trying to like tell you that not working is easy, because I know it's not. But use your financial aid. The purpose of your financial aid is to help alleviate financial stress, right? So if you're able to live off your financial aid for a semester and not have to work and really focus on your courses, maybe you're a STEM major and you're a wizard and you're taking these like crazy courses, you want to be able to focus your time and energy on studying. So bottom line is that's why March 2nd is so important, because we want you to be able to qualify and get awarded all of the financial aid. Now, I know I talked about workshops that CalSOAP, that your career centers are hosting, that your counselors can help you with. You know, make sure you're attending those. But we are also hosting workshops. So not myself, because I am not a financial aid technician or financial aid advisor, but we have our financial aid department. And folks, we have always invited and extended the invitation for you to join our virtual workshops. You are more than welcome. I will continue to share that information with your academic counselors. But please take advantage of those opportunities. You have an entire month to get your financial aid application. Today's the 2nd, March 2nd, you've got a whole month. So hope that helps. Hope that helped a little bit about financial aid, and hopefully encourage you to do it on time.
Mary Lou, we've been asked, can you repeat the deadlines or the dates again that you talked about in regards to financial aid?
Yes, March 2nd. March 2nd is the big deadline for Cal Grant. March 2nd is a deadline for Cal Grant. Cal Grant is California aid. So just want to highlight. So you could still do your FAFSA after March 2nd. That's totally fine. You can definitely do it, but you may not be eligible for Cal Grant anymore because it's a hard deadline of March 2nd. So we definitely, you know, we want to get things in before then. And you can list, sorry, Liz, I know you're going to ask another question. You can also list different schools. So folks, if you are thinking of applying to other schools and you're just waiting on those acceptance letters, we are okay with being your backup plan or your plan B. We are totally okay with that. We are fine with that. We want you to be successful. We want you to, you know, go on these educational journeys that you decide for yourself. I can't pick it for you. Your parents, well, I mean, your parents kind of can't pick them for you, but you know, it's really your choice. However, you want to make sure that you're, you know, kind of creating your backup plan. So if you come to us, you complete your steps with us, you're not giving us anything other than your time. And I would much rather you come August, email me and say, hey, can you help me drop all my classes? I'm actually going to go to UCLA. I got a great award package. Awesome. I would be so happy for you. I'm never going to say like, oh, really? Like, you're not going to come to us? No. Oh my goodness. I would be so excited to get those emails, and I would be happy to help drop you from your classes. But it's really hard when we get those emails and when we get those requests the week before the semester, the first week of the semester, and you're emailing us, you're contacting us saying, hey, I just graduated, from Carp High. I didn't get anything done. Can you help me? Yeah, we're going to help you and we're going to do what we can, but it's going to be a lot more challenging to get in those courses, to get things completed. You're going to, be scrambling to get your textbooks. It just creates a lot more stress for you. It's unneeded stress. So bottom line, just try to go through these steps with us because it's free. And if you change your mind, that's totally okay. Nothing, you're not losing anything from us. Do you have any other questions, Liz?
I was just going to say, could you kind of go over the financial aid requirement for Promise?
Yes. So one of the requirements for the Promise is students do have to complete a financial aid application. So whether students are completing the FAFSA, so that's one of them, you can complete the DREAM Act, just depending on what your residency status is. And then lastly, the third one would be the California Promise Grant, known as the CCPG. Students can also complete that. But like I said, if you complete the FAFSA or the DREAM Act, you've already completed the CCPG. There's no need to complete it. But to be in the Promise, you do have that financial component required. You have to complete one of those applications. If you do not complete it, guess what? You will get dropped from the Promise, and you will get lots of reminders letting you know, hey, you're still missing a requirement. So it is a requirement, or you will get dropped from the Promise. If you get dropped from the Promise, they're the ones paying your classes, folks. If you get dropped from the Promise, you could potentially get dropped from all of your classes. And we've seen it happen one too many times for something, really so simple that we've really been talking about and highlighting a lot. So yeah, most importantly, just make sure you're completing all of your steps to enrollment and your steps for the Promise so you don't get dropped from classes.
Mary Lou, I do not have any more questions. I would
Perfect.
encourage anyone that's here that still has questions that they please put them in the Q&A box so that we can answer them. I don't know if Sabrina or Michaela, if you have anything that you would like to add.
I think everything was covered.
All right. Are we done? Do we have any more questions?
I don't have any more questions coming in, Mary Lou.
Okay, perfect. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you joined us halfway through and you missed some of the beginning information, please, we welcome you to join us during session number 2. It will start promptly at 6 p.m. Hopefully I do not choke and lose my voice at that next time. But join us if you still have questions, if you just want to hear the information again. If your friends weren't able to join us right now, please, we invite you to join us for our next session. And thanks for being here. Look forward to seeing you and working with you.